bee has entered my room. It's been here for a few days. I don't know how it got in. I have a studio light on, and right before I started this video, the bee was buzzing on the light. Before that, I was on the window looking outside to where was the light. Now, while I'm filming this, that bee might start buzzing again on the studio light, and you might hear it. Why do bugs get attracted to light? You know, if you're outside at nighttime and you turn on a lamp and there are bugs of whatever type around, moths, gnats, bees, they'll start swarming around the light. Why? Well, where there's light, where you can see the territory. You can see your surroundings. And bees and bugs and so forth are not quite so intelligent, and so they just incessantly bang on the light because they're so attracted to it. Something instinctual within them gravitates towards it. The same way we wake up and most of us live in accordance with sunlight. It's easy to be nocturnal nowadays, easier than it used to be because we have artificial lights, but you need light. Candlelight from hundreds of years ago wouldn't have sufficed that well to do that many things under the cover of night. When it comes to being enlightened, why does somebody turn on the light? Why do you need light? Well, so, like with the bug, so that you can see. So that you can really see what's around you. And I mean this in a figurative sense now, in a spiritual sense. Because of course, if your senses are functioning, you can perceive your environment, certainly, at least with regard to your sight and your hearing, and you can map it out. So that's not really the question at hand. The question at hand is seeing the truth internally. Seeing who and what you are, not encumbered by this veil of excessive thought, by a veil of ego or a veil of darkness, which can take hold of you, cover you, shroud you as this alternate dark character, some villain in the world, or just some greedy, fearful thing, or anything. Desirous, extremely desirous in many, many ways. Extremely self-pitying, extremely self-victimizing, extremely depressed, whatever it may be. All these things are caused by thought and emotion, feedback loop patterns, all based in a false sense of identity. The I created, not the real I, not the underlying I, not the I, the true I, which is aware of perceiving everything underneath it, everything in front of it, everything it's perceiving. But the little I, the small self, the one created by thought, the one created by conditioning, the one which believes fully in its role in the world, as if that's the end-all be-all of existence, which takes the world and its own self with utmost seriousness. That is the darkness which we seek to uplift ourselves from. Bees crawling on the floor now, it's getting near my foot. I don't kill bees now. I used to. I could easily have killed it, but I don't feel right killing bugs. I do a lot. I kill cockroaches, I kill ants when they're in my house. But I have a little bit of guilt when I do it, because, like me, it's a living creature. And I feel like this bee is just going to die on its own at some point. it's living its life. That's it. And I fear it, clearly. I mean, this thing is like 1,000th my size, but it's got a stinger. I don't want to get stung. I've been stung once. But in truth, it's just trapped in this house. It would like to go out. It would like to go hang out outside, do whatever a bee does. It's probably not gonna. It's probably gonna die in here of its own accord. It doesn't know how to get out. So it sits on the window. And now it's dark outside and this light is on. It goes to the light. Have you seen Aladdin? That's a beautiful movie. Aladdin gets thrown in jail by Jafar. Bad guy. And this crotchety old man comes up. Who's actually Jafar in disguise. Says, Aladdin says, "Who are you?" Old man says, "A lonely prisoner like yourself. But together, perhaps we could be more." A lonely prisoner. The need and desire, sorry, I'm looking at the bee. The need and desire for a transcend. You know what? I'm gonna focus here. Let me focus on the bee if it actually gets near me. Let me focus my awareness on what I need to focus on. I don't need to keep an eye on him. I don't think that he's gonna come and get me. Although he's moving this way. Okay. All right. So, what was I saying? That bee sits on the windowsill, looking for freedom, looking for light. It's trapped right now in my house. In that way, though, all of us are trapped within our limited selves, within our bodies, within the conditions of our lives. And when we're young and when we're strong, it might not feel so bad. We may be aware to some extent that there are limitations and we fear bad things happening to our situations, to us, to whatever. We try very, very, very much to secure the future. You know, that bee is just exploring around, and here I am sitting around being scared of it. Why would I kill it? Yeah, on a gut instinct, sure. I don't want it to stab me. Oh, it's a bug. I'm used to killing bugs. When I was a kid, I used to crawl around everywhere, you know? You know, in 2014, I was at a hotel, and I was in a bathtub, and there's this one ant. One ant in the bathtub somehow. And I don't know what I did, but exactly, it was a long time ago, but I spent like 5, 10, 15 minutes like trying to save it, right? Like, I think the tub was filling with water, and I like picked it up, it kept slipping through my hands. I don't know exactly, I don't remember. But I was just so focused, and I just tried to save that ant. You know, of course, I've killed a lot of ants and stuff since, you know, cockroaches and other stuff, right? But for some reason, at that moment, I really cared about that one ant. Okay, so what was I saying? Prisoners. See, now the bee's out of sight. This bee would be a distraction if it weren't so relevant to what I'm talking about. This need for transcendence is pan-universal, which is to say that it's not bounded in any culture. It's not bounded in any time. This has been the case, that people have sought to know who they are beyond their temporary bodies and expressions and identities. for all time and in all places. On the level of the relative, we're all prisoners. We're all subject to the fears and the situations and circumstances present in the society around us. If we live at wartime actively, in a war zone, we're subject to the fears and situations of being at war, If we're in peacetime, then whatever other things we may be worried about. It's all conditional. All of it's conditional. All the situations are in flux. But this is not everything. The incorporeal, the transcendent, the immortal, the eternal, the pure, the unconditioned consciousness, the awareness, which is no thing and nothing, because it is no thing. That's what we really are. You, me, and that bee which I refuse to kill. But I also don't know how to save. Because I'm not about to get stung by that thing it flies too, like sometimes lizards get in the house and I'm able to capture them and take them outside, But why would that bee get near me? And if it does, would it sting me in reality? I've been stung once. Do I need to replay that memory? I was like 6. I'm 27 now. Do I need to replay that memory over and over? You just anticipate every bee is going to be one that stings me. That's the definition, right, of an ego. That's the process of what an ego does. It's a process of what fear is. Taking some childhood memory or some past conditioned memory and replaying it over and over, bringing it into your awareness over and over, assuming for sure that fear-based assumption is true. Can you hear it? Bees buzzing on the light. Not making it up. There is a bee here. That's what we need to do. All of us. I had an experience. With that bee getting near me, of seeing my own fear and not acting out in violence against it and not giving it disproportionate focus, but instead knowing, no, let me focus here. Let me trust that bee's not going to touch me. And so far it hasn't even gotten close. Really, it's gotten closer. But all around the world, all around the world, there's so much perpetration of hatred, violence, whatever, from one group to another, one person to another, and then that other group, that other person just does it back. It's perpetration, retribution. It's an ongoing cycle. Well, I guess I did a very small role in these last few minutes of doing my part in reducing that by having a clearer perception of that bee. Not as a threat. I have more enlightened perception of that bee. And I didn't enact some violence on it or just continue sitting there fearfully that I'm going to get stung. When in reality, nothing happened. There was no threat, except in my mind. Now, of course, realistically, quote unquote, there could have been a threat. But realistically, what happened in reality, there was no threat. I don't even know where the bee is now. And if I was still focused on it, I'd be looking all over, trying to find that threat. Trying to find the threat. Do you see that? I'm actually safe, and I'm trying to find the threat. This is instinctual. It's instinctual to humans to do this, especially since they're so intelligent. Their minds go and go and go and go and go. They never stop. and the agony that creates, how much they can hate each other, how much they can hurt themselves by not letting go of their stories. I was with a guy earlier today, one of my friend's sons, and he said, "What's your favorite song?" I said, "It's Dear Prudence by the Beatles." It's about a girl who's meditating too much and not really engaging with life. We listened to it. He pulled it up. I didn't ask him to. He pulled it up. We listened to it. And then I said, let me tell you a song I like a lot too. While My Guitar Gently Weeps by the Beatles. It's a George Harrison song. But we didn't listen to the Beatles version. We listened to a version played by in 2002 by Eric Clapton, who's a guitarist, friend of the Beatles, friend of George Harrison, Paul McCartney and Ringo, two Beatles, Donnie Harrison, George's son, and a bunch like 100, and by 100 I mean like 5 or 10 other musicians on the stage. Look, what I love about the song is that it is a song about I got a guitar here, right? I can't play well, okay? But he's got his guitar, okay? He is a guitarist, okay? The guy asked me, what does it mean, my guitar gently weeps? I said, he's a guitarist, and guitarists express through their soul. I mean, they express their soul through their guitar playing. And he sees all the love that's there within people, within the world. And he sees how people have been inverted, how they've been perverted too. I don't know how. Nobody told you how to unfold your love. I don't know how you were inverted. You are perverted too. I look at you all, see the love there that's sleeping, while my guitar gently weeps. Look at you all. Still my guitar gently weeps. The version that I refer to from the concert of George, what I love about it is that all of those musicians were such close friends of George's. I mean, the main ones at least, right? Eric Clapton, Paul, Ringo. And this was done, this was not a showy performance. This was not a disturbed performance. This was not an egoistic performance. This was out of pure love for their friend. One of the 4 Beatles who now died. And they were there performing maybe the best song he made in honor of him. All this being said, I went to the Beatles ashram in Rishikesh. It's in India. The Beatles went there. George initiated all that. They went to India and they meditated for 2 months in an ashram. Ashram's like a meditation center. And they wrote most of the White Album there, including that song, and including both Dear Prudence and the guitar weeping song. There's a beautiful quote there. It says, "Love in the heart of man is a shrine to God on earth." I don't think that words can get closer to the meaning of the Beatles, their whole discography, than that quote. And if the Beatles taught us anything, it's that the universe is love. The world is love. That power was so powerful. That's what made their music what it was. Through some divine destiny, through some arrangement of the universe, through something, these four people came, met each other, and had these insights, had the musicianship, the lyrics, the singing, the whatever, the equipment to make it happen, and they spread messages that had never been spread before, not in that way, not in such a beautiful way, to music. Not those messages. Not that popular, that's for sure. That's why I love the Beatles. If it weren't for them, I wouldn't have started. I started a band. I don't have a band now, but I still write songs. I'm still working on singing. I'm learning guitar. But if my role here is to be anything among the many roles that I play, Jay the tennis player, Jay the video person, Jay the person wearing a blue jacket, Jay the son, Jay the driver because I drive a car, Jay the eater because I eat, Jay the sleeper because I sleep, Jay the writer because I write. If my role in a larger sense is to be anything, it's to speak on these topics so that people can know. They can know what I've known. I can speak to what I've known, what I've seen. The beauty of the universe, the beauty of the world, the beauty of people, the beauty of humanity. And the crazy thing, why I have, this is gonna sound really stupid, but it's kind of dumb, but like, why I have absolute faith in humanity, because if it could produce one person like Gandhi, not like Gandhi, if it could produce Gandhi, which it did, one person, it can make everybody like Gandhi, or as good as Gandhi, or you get my point. Why not? Maybe it's our time as a species, as a humanity, as a whatever. Maybe it's time to move past. Move beyond, transcend, know ourselves at a deeper level than the surface, the physical. And I'd say the biggest role that I play is the role of Jay. The role of this, without definition, but this person, this character. Before my spiritual awakening, it was completely identified with the character. I have to do this, I'm gonna get this is my future, I'll be successful, right? All good. I learned a lot of good skills, fine. But I see myself now as the consciousness underlying the character. The absolute underneath the relative. So all my education, all my everything still lives within me. All my conditioning lives within me. But I can see beyond it. And I can execute my role from a deeper place of awareness. Use my words, my language for deeper things than I could have without this awareness. Live in a deeper way as consciousness inside Jay, or as Jay, rather than being Jay, trying to realize that he's consciousness. So this is a role, this is a character on the world stage, this amazingly inordinate play of form, play of people, all with their own individual story, individual features, individual fingerprints, individual destinies. What's my role? Well, I'm living it. I'm living it right now. Whatever it is, I'm living it. I'll keep building myself, but more importantly, I'll keep going deeper into who I really am. Not as Jay, but as consciousness. Not one who's afraid of the bee. Not one who replays the memory of being stung by a bee decades ago, literally, every time he sees a bee. And not one who's bounded by the fears that he used to have. Not one bounded by the fears based in his conditioning. Not one stuck in the limitations that I feel without being able to articulate, without being able to pinpoint. Not one bound within those limitations. Because those are the limitations of my small mind-made self, right? My body is capable of playing tennis at a higher level than I can right now. Is my mind, though? Yeah, no, I mean, it's not. If it was, I'd be doing it. This is the spiritual practice, though. Djokovic, world number one, says the tennis court is his battleground. Like, internal battleground, right? It's a very good way to describe it. He's spiritual himself, and some people think he's crazy, but he's on to something that a lot of people aren't, and his results speak. He's world number one. I mean, what can you say? So, man. So, I guess my parting message to you would be, know yourself at your depth, not as this form. Whatever the color of your hair, whatever your background, your height, your life position, financial situation, it's all relatively real and important, temporarily speaking. It ain't gonna last forever. And the only good thing about the downfall of form, and all of what I just described as form, is that it forces you into the transcendent, which is the absolute truth. The absolute truth of reality, of your existence. In yoga class, they like to say, the light in me honors, loves, and respects the light in you. Well, those aren't my words, but I do reflect the sentiment. You have a lot of power. The real awareness that's you is a tremendous thing. Well, it's not a thing, but you get my point. We as a collective can move beyond. Move beyond this, nonsense. Whatever the nonsense may be within our minds. And the only job that each of us has individually is to do it ourselves. Can't make anybody do anything. But we do it ourselves, and then the light shines. And like with the lamp, things, people, whatever, flock. Because they want the light. They too would like to see. They too would like to fly free, like that bee. Let's all kindle the light inside and see what happens on this world stage when we turn on the light.